Now, as the Israel-Hamas war rages on, its effects are seen across the world. This comes as people in several countries took to the streets to show support for either Israelis or the Palestinians. Now, in New York City's Times Square, thousands of demonstrators marched through the streets to show support for Palestinian people. The protesters, many of whom were wearing masks to conceal their identity, chanted slogans against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The New York Police Department, the NYPD, has stepped up security measures to maintain law and order in the city. Then let's take a look at what's happening in London. Thousands of pro-Palestinian protesters took to the streets calling for an end to Israel's military actions in the Gaza Strip. Protesters, many of whom were waving Palestinian flags, gathered close to the Oxford Circus, from where they headed to Downing Street. Chants were aimed at the governments of Britain and the United States for supporting Israel. Police had issued warnings that anyone with a flag expressing support for Hamas or other groups proscribed as terrorists by Britain would be arrested. Similarly, thousands of protesters took to the streets in Italian cities in support of Palestine. In Naples, hundreds marched with a banner which read "No peace under occupation." In Rome, scores of pro-Palestinian students clashed with police, saying as they tried to detour from a rally route that had been approved by authorities. Pro-Palestinian protesters marched through cities of Dusseldorf. People held posters against Israeli airstrikes and chanted "Free Palestine" slogans. And this as pro-Israel protesters were standing nearby holding Israeli flags. Now, the police had a hard time separating protesters from each other. Then in India's eastern city of Kolkata, hundreds of people took to the streets to support Palestine and demand peace in the region amid conflict with Israel. Protesters chanted that Israel has unlawfully captured Palestinian land and is committing atrocities on people. Similar scenes were at display in Pakistan's capital city of Islamabad to show support for Palestinians. Hoisting the Palestinian flags and donning headbands, the protesters vocally expressed their opposition to Israel with chants of anti-Israel slogans filling the air. The march was part of the nationwide rallies under the Palestine Solidarity Week from the 9th of October to the 15th.